If you're looking for a massive stream of new patients and consults into your practice, then you've definitely come to the right place. I'm Scott with New Patients 365, and I'll show you how. Most doctors I work with are frustrated with their new patient marketing and find their advertising efforts to be expensive and the results are rarely consistent. Alternatively, all of the busiest practices I work with are actually combining two proven concepts, one from the dental industry and one from the marketing industry, to create one powerful strategy that is allowing them to grow their business and dominate their communities. I'm going to show you that strategy now. Also, be sure to stick around to the end of this short video because I've just added a free marketing tool that you can put to use right away. First off, let me show you why your current marketing is wrong and why you are simply throwing your money away with traditional advertising. There's a rule in marketing called the 3-7-30-30-30 rule. Not a very catchy name, I know, but bear with me. This rule states that for any and every product or service that you are advertising, 10% of the population is interested and 90% of the population simply doesn't care, or worse, doesn't even notice your efforts. But we can break this down even further. Of those 10% that show interest in your marketing, 3% would want your product and actively seek it out, and 7% would want your product but not be ready to act on it just yet. Now, I hope this is a huge eye-opener for you here. When you set up external marketing and advertising, you are trying to capture only 3% of the population. Every orthodontic office in your area is fighting over this 3% right here. You had better believe there's competition among orthodontists for this 3%. What worked yesterday is simply not working today. But what about this 90% here? The 90% of the population who would traditionally ignore orthodontic advertising. Well, research shows that for any product or service, if you were to actually educate these people with more information about your product or service and how it would specifically benefit them, then the following would be revealed. 30% of these people would then show more interest in your product, but still not buy. 30% of these people would show more interest in your product and actually consider buying. And 30% of these people would still show no interest in your product whatsoever. Imagine that. If you were to say to this 30% of people, did you know that straight teeth are a lot more than simply looking good? Did you know that crooked teeth can lead to premature wear and tear, gum recession, bite problems, and extra costly dental work down the road? Did you know that we have advanced options to correct these issues right here in this office? If you were to say that to this 30% demographic here, these people would genuinely consider starting care with you. That's 10 times the amount of patients who would normally respond to one of your regular ads or marketing efforts. And even better, absolutely no one is marketing to these people. There is zero competition for these patients. So right now you're saying, right, Scott, great news, but where do I find these people for this magical education session? Well, that brings us to the second part of our marketing strategy. I know you are aware of this next bit of research, but most seem to forget that in 1996, the Journal of Dental Research stated that 74% of the adult population today presents to a dental professional with malocclusion. 74%. 74% of people living in your city have at least one type of malocclusion. 74% of people driving past your practice are orthodontic candidates. And yes, 74% of the people sitting in your office right now, waiting for their child or sibling, could benefit from your services. So what does all this mean? This is the last bit of math, I promise. Hypothetically, if you were to see 100 patient visits per week in your practice, and each of those patients brings, on average, one parent or sibling with them to each visit, that means there are 100 people sitting in your office every week who are not currently your patients. We know that 74% of these people present with malocclusion that could benefit from your care, and we know that 30% of those patients with malocclusion would be very interested in starting care if someone would just educate them. Yes, that means if you currently see 100 patient visits per week, then there are 22 people sitting in your waiting room who need your care, who already know and like you and your staff, and who are familiar and comfortable with your business. 22 potential new patients every week if they were simply educated correctly. Not sold to, but educated. If your team became skilled at educating these people, imagine how your practice and life would change. So here's the good news and the offer that I alluded to at the beginning of this video. I've observed and recorded the top 5 strategies that the busiest practices are using today to target this 30%. Educate these people and grow their practices during even the most difficult economic times. Just visit this link and I'll send you the free report outlining the strategies, and you can start implementing these powerful tactics tomorrow. Click on this link now for immediate access, and we'll see you shortly.